Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Ascension messages. My name is Bobby, and I will be your guide for today. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of channeling. I said last week that I was going to try going live every day, even though it's Christmas this week. We'll see what happens, right? If I miss a day, I miss a day. But I'm here now, and I wanted to channel some messages through, because every day I'm getting these messages, and it's really incredible energies at the moment that are very in flux. There's a lot of shifts and changes. It's presented that way, they're telling me, because so that we have the ability within us to change the story. We don't have to attach ourselves to a certain outcome, even if a so-called someone who's in power enforces something over the people kind of thing. It's up to the people to decide that that is going to be their reality, and you individually can create your own reality outside of that. And this is why they wanted to call it stepping out of reality, because everything is so in flux, like everything's been broken down to its nanoparticle kind of, to our thoughts, right till the central point of ourselves. And then from there we can burst a new life. We can create a new path and move towards something better and greater. And if we can also transfix on something that somebody else told us that's going to happen to humanity or to your country or to the people, and you become a part of that reality being created as well. But you have the ability at this moment to step out of that reality and find a whole other path, a whole totally different vibe that carves through unconditional love for all from your central point out, and you'll see it all starts to fall into place. We are literally being shifted into stillness within ourselves, to be able to stillness of the logical monkey mind that has been the masculine mind that's been grasping at reality by only grabbing the past and projecting it into the future. Well, that happened in the past, so it's going to happen in the future. That person was more powerful than me in the past. But then you're not seeing the full story of that you allowed that to happen. Now we're getting into a point of that stilling enough for us to have clarity, at least a space within ourselves, to be able to ignite our imagination, to be able to form whole new pathways within our brain, a whole new game, a whole new way of, and that's why it becomes a whole new society or a whole new reality game, because we're no longer transfixed on the dual aspect of negative and positive, one side of our brain, our masculine side, fighting against our intuitive side, or intuitive side getting upset because it's not being heard. It's more of a collaborative field and an awareness that we are the observer of this reality as the soul progresses. And so we end up being able to move into a whole new way of living. It's totally different. And it's going to be feeling a little vulnerable as you move towards this, and a little bit of going back and forth as we have been, but more so into, especially 2026, we're going into a better reality. I'm going to, tomorrow, I'm going to come live with some predictions that I've channeled through about 2026. We'll see how that goes. I have had things like this been taken down on my site before, because I don't know, I did something I wasn't supposed to. I said something I wasn't supposed to. So hopefully this one won't be taken down. And but tomorrow I will read out what I've got, and and we'll go from there for 2026 predictions. But for some reason, they want me to go nearly every day at the moment because of so much shifting and changing happening to us individually, which is a massive reflection of what's actually going to happen outside of us. It's almost like each individual person is creating their own reality, and then it depends on how many are in line with that reality as to who's going to come into your life and be part of that created reality, new created reality. But it's going to come from empowerment, understanding that we can now listen to our soul and our intuition, and that we are guided through the magic of life. Life isn't just a practical sense of, a separated world of practicality and materialism and that sort of thing. Life has always also been feeling based, and even though we denied that, it still was. So everything is in reflection to the way that you feel about yourself and how you look in this world. So moving forward from here is a great lesson of who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? But not from an ego point of view. It's from a wholeness and an understanding or acceptance of the truth of yourself. And if your soul is a magnificent soul that's come in here with so much wisdom to share, and so many experiences it wants to have, to help and guide and all that sort of stuff, or to just create, then that's the truth of it. It is the truth of it. It has to be accepted, as well as the progressional life that you've built yourself upon in a practical living way, where you've got a job and you've got that degree and and that sort of thing has told you that you are this person. Well, much of that is like, yes, it can fit into this world, like you can fit into this world like that, but a lot of it is still navigated, they're telling me, by the soul, building you up to a position where you can use it in a much better way, a wholesome way, as you move along in your life. So you're now collaborating with that life that you've had now, but also bringing in your soul's aspect of who you are before this life, before that life before. Hope that made sense. I'm channeling, so I just trying to bring through what's happening. If nobody knows me, I also have a school called AMAKEL. If you want to join the AMAKEL school, I have literally 100 telepathic games there, which are really fun. Just added a Christmas game because I love Christmas, so the vibe of Christmas is in there. To me, Christmas is sharing, caring, exchanging, manifesting the gifts in life. There's magic in that, in Christmas for me, and to be able to come into that and then bring that energy through with these games is really fun. So that's there. Also, I have another YouTube called Codes to a New Reality. If you want to go join there, beautiful videos of 3 to 10 minute long videos with really profound messages within them as well. Okay, let's get back into the channeling. So we are navigating this whole new game. They are bringing me to a awareness of a post that I saw of a scientific experiment that they did, where they tested somebody who was taking, I think they were taking mushrooms, and it was just a test that they did on their brain, and they expected the brain to all light up and show, like extra amounts of brain activity. But instead they got the opposite, which is literally what my team has taught me. It actually stilled their logical brain and their activity within their brain, which is so-called normal, but not normal when it comes to the wholeness of us, because it's overtaken. And you can see that in a reflection in our outer world, where the masculine has overtaken our reality and not brought in the feeling base and the magic and all that sort of stuff. It stilled the brain, but then something weird happened where activations of parts of the brain that weren't active before were starting to light up. It's like they were given space, and new connections were being made of a different reality. This is where the psychedelicness becomes entangled in the logical mainframe of the game that we've been playing, and it shifts us into a whole new field of understanding life isn't just a physical substance. It is also a somatic vibrational pattern that includes vibrations that are not seen by the physical eye but felt within by the bodies, like the hairs on the body. They're showing me it literally infiltrates every aspect of ourselves. An awareness of what's going on beyond just the 5 physical senses that the logical mind can understand. And that means that when you walk on this plane of existence, you walk on Earth, then you could come across places on Earth where you feel different, or you feel there's a vortex, or you feel something. And you can't, it's not something that, some people be like a tuning fork and pick it up, and then other people come and they can't feel it because they're not in tune to the same vibration. But you can't pretend this to happen. It will either give you an experience, an enlightened experience, and it'll be personal to you, or it won't. But there are specific vortexes that can be open to the public to give them like a bridge to another reality. Many have been protected while humanity was out of balance and out of kilter. And it's because whenever we make new neuron paths within, or I suppose they are somatic patterns within ourselves and our brains, new neuron paths within our minds, so too will end up reflecting outside of us. And this is where the magic starts to really show up on our doorsteps, where we have connections with benevolent beings that have been here on Earth for a very long time. We're also, the challenge the logical mind, will be challenged by a new understanding of our history. So I'm just trying to get what they're saying. Where humanity was capped on what we were born, as ape-like, and then we ended up transitioning slowly, developing into this. And that's not the true history of humanity at all. There's a lot of changing frequencies, shifting. Humanity's gone through. They're telling me 9. I'm not sure. But they're telling me there's definitely been all these different lives that consciousness of humanity has gone through, where we built ourselves up and then we fell, and then we built ourselves up and then we fell. And that's a natural thing. We are right in the midst of falling, this empire that we've created outside of us falling. To make room for a new. It has to go that way because it's in reflection to the seasons. It's natural. It's nature in itself. Humanity's consciousness is also on that cycle of life, and so too we'll get to a certain point of a degree where we've learnt all we can by living in this unbalanced way. But also gaining a lot of wisdom and understanding of what the logical mind is all about, and the masculine mind is all about, and what it brings to the table. And then it has to get to a peak where it starts to meet oneness itself. and the wisdom that it starts to infiltrate into also starts to bleed into the intuitive mind, the etheric fields. And so now logic starts to understand that, and that in itself, an acceptance of that world that we have been denying ourselves, brings us into a nullify, like a neutral situation within our brain of I don't know how far I can go without losing myself. So the logical mind doesn't want to lose itself. So it's like, as a protection, it either has to love that aspect of itself and embrace it because that's how far it's come, and then that means it opens itself up to a whole new game, or it will be in denial of it so much so that your soul will be taken into a very fixed life where you are completely controlled by outside forces, and it will feel very uncomfortable until you say to yourself, I have had enough. And then when you say, I have had enough of this game, I'm sick of replaying, maybe trying to control others or being a victim to others, then it will shift into love again of what have I been denying myself that is part of me. And that is going to open up many, many different vortexes that also will awaken the elemental world, the connection to Mother Earth, and they will soon to have purpose again, connect back with us. They're showing me like small stones that these other beings that live in the elemental worlds have placed in a circle. They keep showing me this, and then they're bringing in a human to, and then they'll put in their heads a rhyme, and then the human has to find the last part of the rhyme because they have to be so connected with themselves to go into their reality to be able to be telepathic. And so the last part of that rhyme is their own telepathy and connection to the elemental world for them to be able to go through the portal and the gateway into these other worlds. So you can see now when we start to open our minds up to this whole other game, how it shifts everything and includes things that we were in denial of before. Holy crap. So yeah, I'm literally full with goosebumps at the moment, just goosies all over my body as I'm giving this message. But it all starts with us and understanding that the stillness within ourselves is so needed for us to just shush that logical, negative mindset that's kept us in a limited, out of fear, in a limited reality because it was scared to expand or bleed into that which it does not understand completely. But it was never meant to completely understand it. It was meant to embrace it. It was meant to allow it to grow. It was actually meant to stabilize this physical world so that we could go further with the etheric world. Like a masculine person, a male person that's very masculine, meeting a female person, and the masculine protects and helps stabilize things by agreeing to this female's imaginative world. The more stable it can be, that masculine field can be, the more that the etheric world of the dancing feminine person will be able to explore and know that they're safe to come back. They're always safe to come back to this physical world, but they haven't felt, the feminine side of humanity hasn't felt safe to explore too much because they haven't been accepted or felt safe by the masculine logical mind. So you can see it within us. You can see it in the relationships that's going to be reflecting outside of us. It's all part of the big game. And then we also have the countries that are more masculine and more feminine. Are they going to embrace each other? Is the East going to embrace the West and that sort of thing? Are we going to learn to work that we have different ideas of how to live, and that's okay to let that be, to not judge anymore, but to accept that there's always something we can merge into and gain from, instead of seeing it as an enemy, because nothing was ever an enemy. It was only a denial of the truth of who we really were. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Annie. 22. Thank you so much for that beautiful donation there. And what a beautiful figure, 22 on the 22nd of December. I think you probably knew that. Yeah, but I get it. 222s. Like, really, we are learning to come together with all these twos. This is the next movement forward. We're going into a 1 year. We're beginning something, and we're setting ourselves up in this next year, 2026, for the following year, which is a 2 year. I do believe it must be a 2 year. Yeah, so much more is going to happen as we start to come back into the center, but it's up to you. How are you navigating these next solar flares? How are you navigating this next bout of energy that's coming towards you? Are you still feeling like there's something, you're victimized to and you're clearing, or are you starting to step away from that victimized feeling that you have to clear something, and you're stepping into a space of unknownness? Because that unknownness is where this new stories are going to begin, because when literally when the mushrooms kicked in with these people, they did a scientific experiment. They felt like it was just craziness in their brain, but it wasn't. It was a new establishment of connections, a new awareness of things way outside. This is why you have a psychedelic experience with them. Now, that's not to say that something that you take outside of you can only be a path for you. It cannot be something that you keep taking and you keep taking and you keep taking to have these experiences. No, if you did the inner work and you found stillness within you, you would be able to tune into these psychedelic experiences yourself through clarity of oneself, knowing where to go on earth, like what land do you sit with. They're showing me that, or just tuning into something so in depth, like you see literally the particles of the leaves of the tree, and you see that the tree is speaking to you, that there is a communication there, something to do with that. A psychedelic experience doesn't have to be just something that you visually see as in the kaleidoscopes, although that is part of the experience if you go deep, but it's also a subtleness of connection between the outer world and you as the inner world, and understanding it is part of a wholeness. And so if psychedelicness, say, it's everywhere in nature, like there's morning glory flowers. I don't know how to process them, but there's all sorts of ways that you can process them to reach psychedelicness, a psychedelic experience. There's so much out there that you could use, but the reason why it's there is the thing that we have to remember is always a reflection of ourselves. There is nothing outside of you that cannot be accessed from within, that you don't need the substance, because if we are needing something outside of us, we are already saying to ourselves that we are less than that. And that is not the truth. The truth is you are one, and oneness meets at love. So you have the capability from within you to go into these experiences, maybe through breath work, but your body has an understanding of how to take you deep into these places, to have these experiences, to understand more wisdom and more connection to nature and beings residing in these other dimensional spaces. The bringing through fables and that of fairy tales where there was always a test done. The test is, are you going to take my gift, or are you going to share? It's not about being, those stories are not about being surrendering and giving everything that you own away. It was never about that. It was always about, are you relying on something outside of you to gift you who you really already should know you are? Are you relying on that outside of you? So if some kind of old woman in a fable came up to a pauper person and said, "Here, I have gold for you," and if the pauper person took the gold and become the king, they end up, because they were still looking outside themselves, chasing a dream outside of themselves and wanting power, then they end up just imploding inwards and crap happened to them in the fables. But if the person was all, yeah, I know who I am the gold and the gold is me, then the gold would naturally come their way without needing to grab or steal or, see what I'm saying? There was a collaboration. We're coming to the awareness of ourselves. The power of who we are as we move forward is to do with that connection of understanding ourselves as magnificence, as just as equal as anything outside of ourselves. And we meet there, meaning that all abundance comes to us naturally. So we bring in what we are needing for our next step in a physical way, because we've already met a vibrational meet within us. And that's literally, truly how to manifest. And that's why they say feel into as if you've already had it. But I think it goes another step. It's like you can become absolute awareness when you are just stillness within the mind all the time, living in a moment to moment without that monkey mind chatter, just trusting that you are already supported. You already support yourself by choosing in each and every moment the right thing to do in each and every moment. Wow. Yeah, that's right, Vic Star. Lemurian and Atlantean would have been two of those worlds that was the history that was, uprising and falling. And that's right, there's actually a lot more. It goes beyond that. We have risen and fallen quite a few times. And this last rise was to find balance within oneself, because the one before that, which was the Lemurian Atlantis lifetimes, were more feminine based. And so we needed to know more about our outer world to be able to bring it into a balance. But we've gone as far as we can with the outer world. This is why people like me and others have come forth to be able to bring through the understanding of the feminine power again. And many of us, many of you understand that now. We understand that there's ways that we can shift the story, that we don't have to control everything in a physical way outside of us. We shift it within ourselves. Yeah. We have been advised within Pranic Healing Group not to use psychedelics as it can create holes in your aura. What are your thoughts on this? I believe that we are in a world that is fixated on sorry, I'm just turning on my aircon. An outside existence. We're in a position where logic is kind of needing help to just shush. And so for me and many shamans and stuff like that in the past would have still used that outside nature to gift you a path. But for me, that's how I feel. It's like a path that you can reach that point, but then ask yourself through that experience, show me the path so that I can do this without an outside substance. And so then you can navigate with that. If you find yourself in need of something always, then you are already victim to that. So that's how I see it. Each to their own. Whatever you feel, if you feel you can find a path without the experience, absolutely, that is something that can happen. So I don't like to judge anything or anyone on what I feel we've all got different paths that we have already chosen from our soul's perspective, how to navigate these really intense energies and how to open up ourselves to the awareness of coming back into a wholeness of self. I wouldn't judge anyone for taking, I wouldn't judge anyone for not, but if someone is reliant on something always, then they have to look at the fact that they are victim to it as well. So I would bring that up if I found that person was falling for that thing as I need it. I can't reach it unless I have an outside thing. Well, then ask in the next trip to show you a path without it. That's how I would advise. Also, if anyone, I have to be aware of the time because I have a reading coming up as well. If anyone wants a reading with me, my link is down below. And I'll go really into the depth of your soul if necessary, or help you shift stuff that you don't know how to shift in this moment. It's just like a guide. I'm just like a guide to help navigate through the energies. Okay, is there anything else that wants to be brought through? Yeah, because I was going to do shorter readings and then come along. I'll go live every day this week. So even Christmas Day, I think I will. Might be a bit later because my daughters will be here in the morning, but look out for that one too. I'm definitely going live tomorrow, so see me tomorrow. 2026 predictions are coming through, so I'm probably going to I will be doing that. I've already got the title page up there. And it's the year of the fire horse. So this is going to be very interesting because I've dealt with a lot of fire horses in my life. So I kind of know this energy of what's coming. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, guys. Until tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I will see you then. Bye.